Back in the dusty shop. Another weekend. Working on torque boxes today. It's that beautiful corner. It's that beautiful trunk. It's awesome front floors. And front torque boxes all fixed. Happy guy. Now, I don't usually show a lot as I go, you know, but maybe I'll step through this one with you guys just for fun to show what's involved a little bit more. The front of these torque boxes, they had cut out, not quite that high, I've cut a little bit higher, but they cut the rusted portion out. Had a little piece of, oh geez, I don't know. Geez, it was just tin, like either riveted or screwed on. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. With a bunch of tar over top. Looked pretty mint. But of course, no deal. So anyways, the inside of the torque box is good. I understand it's got some surface rust it's gonna have. It's friggin' 52 years old. So this guy here is supposed to tuck around underneath this floor pan and then be butt welded, or plug welded, sorry. I always get my butts and plugs mixed up. Ooh. Anyways, so should be plug welded on and then welded on. So what I did is I've cut this out, so cleaned up the edges. That's all good for welding, and I will butt weld this back around when I'm done here and plug it on to here. What I had was the very front edge of the bottom of this guy along here was pretty ratty. She was starting to rust a bit. It's super solid right here, all original solid here, and actually this crack, these were two separate pieces. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a piece. I got to put this upwards bend in it. I'm going to butt weld it here, butt weld it all the way across the back, and butt weld it along here. And I might actually come out just a little bit farther, just for the fuck of it. Like I say, it wasn't originally attached here. This is the frame. This is the torque box. Now you can see where they go back and then they overlap, and they're pinch welded from the factory, spot welded properly, but they're solid back there. Once I get that piece in, then I'm going to probably clean this up a little bit more in the depths of it. It's super solid. It's in good shape. But I'm going to make a piece then that goes from here. It's like the top cover. I'm going to overlap this up here. And then I'll probably put a few plugs in just to hold it good and tight. And then we'll just weld entirely across here. And I'm going to go right down here. And it'll sit over top. And then it actually plug welds to the piece that we're putting onto the bottom here. And then again, like I said, this guy goes on top of everybody, and again gets plug welded onto the top of the top cover. So she's like a 3-stage deal. Again, no wonder there's rust, same as everything else. So anyways, that's where we're at. Just fiddling with that, getting everything prepped and ready, and we're going along the way. So we'll be back with a little more progress, and if I don't like it, I just won't post it, but we'll see how it goes. It'll be fine. I'm going to use 16 gauge for that. She's good and thick. It's probably I don't know if that stuff there feels more like maybe 18, but I'm going to go 16 anyway, so I can give her a good solid weld, a good burn in. We want this shit to be tough. These torque boxes are the strength of these cars. So the other side, fingers crossed, shouldn't be near as bad. All it is the very bottom edge of that front cover. The bottom is really good. It doesn't have this little rotted section. It just needs to be cut out on the top cover and just have a little section put down, so it won't be so bad over there. But we'll worry about this for today and maybe get to that. Yeah, these jobs, you know, they take so much longer than you would anticipate, and of course part of the problem is the cheap guy doing the work doesn't want to buy a new complete top cover or a new complete torque box and frame rail and everything else. Well, you know what, that stuff there, that little bit of metal right there, that's like $40, you know. These pieces in here are hundreds and hundreds of dollars, especially here these days. So anyways, no excuses. Hack on, my friends. I'll see you shortly. And just to mention, speaking of hack on, one thing I gotta mention, anybody with a good keen eye when they're looking at the stuff I've been doing here is quickly going to notice this massive freaking gap along here between basically the inner rocker and the rocker itself. So that's this gap here. This car, I don't know if I could count the number of accidents this car has been in, looking at front frame rails, looking at rear frame rails, taking measurements. It'll probably go down the road straight, but anyways, stuff like that, that's something else I got to prep up along here. I'll get my wire wheel out, clean it up shiny, and I'm going to run a good solid bead. I'm going to probably pound it in a little bit closer and then run a good solid bead along here. You know, it just never ends with these old cars. And this car, you know, I decided the value and for what I paid for it, it's just never going to come out. It'll never come out in the wash if I were to buy everything and redo everything that needs to be done in the correct manner. So, you know, forgive me, restoration purists, but, you know, we're building just a fun driver. And, you know, I watched a guy's YouTube thing the other night, and he said, you know what, you get a car done, you get it done perfect, and you get it all done, and that's why you see these beautiful cars for sale on Marketplace and everywhere, because once it's all done and everything's perfect, there's really nothing left, because a lot of it is the road to get where we are or where we're going. That is the fun, and I know that from building bikes for a number of years. When they're done, I'm bored almost immediately. So with this car, like he said, this guy in the video, he said, hey, you know what, keep it a driver, keep it fun, put some horsepower into it. I mean, this car is never going to be done for, you know, for these very reasons, that there's always going to be room for improvement, room for repairs. Not that I'm just one day going to put a fucking torque box and, you know, frame rails in it or something, but I just want to get it solid. I want to get it, we'll get her so she goes down the road good, put a ton of horsepower into it, and we'll just have a hoot with it. And it's going to be basically next best thing to a daily driver from spring till fall anyway. And we'll put some miles on her. Yeah, I normally, there's so many things like that on this car that it's just, it probably, I won't say it wasn't worth restoring, but it wasn't worth restoring. But here we are, we're doing it. And when it's done, like I say, it's going to be fun. And you know, you look at a lot of the guys who do the restorations, or whatever you want to call them, that they take an old shit car like this, they aren't much better than this was before I started, and they just throw a big ass motor in it and rip down the road and have a blast with them, and I always think that's kind of cool too, so, you know, but I want it to be a little better than that. So again, we'll do the subframe connectors and everything, and we'll get her as solid as we can get her. I think it's going to be as solid or more solid than stock when I'm done, but what a chore. Okay, just a little small tidbit in case anybody had a keen enough eye. I know I would have picked it out in someone else's video. I would have said, holy fuck, look at the gap over beside there at the yeah, she's not right, but you get something old like this, what's going to be right? So this is really my first restoration, and I'll tell you what, I have learned more than anything during this process exactly what I need to look for next time. So, and I'll never sell this car. This car is me now in every way. All these goofy repairs that I've done, and some of the half-assed stuff, and some of the better stuff, and just the fun that I've had and the hours that I've put in. It's just this car is me. It's part of me. So anybody who's done this as much as I've been into this, you understand. Okay, so there's that guy. I'm just going to set him up on top. It won't be on top when it's welded, it'll be butted. And that there is the edge of what was the original cover coming down here, so we'll probably run a bead along the side of that. That's about all we're going to do. Or we could double that up. I mean, hell, everything else is doubled and tripled, but either way, we'll figure that out as we go. But yeah, we've got this little fella ready to weld in, so I'll probably go ahead, clean that up a little bit more and do that. Before I put the top cap on, in usual fashion, inside here, everywhere, I will I'll give her a little scrub with a small brush. I don't want to take her down to shiny, but I will pour 15 inside there. Always got to pour 15. Calling for a foot of snow tonight. Welcome to New Brunswick, everybody. It's not like we don't have enough, but should have a snowmobile or something. Anyways. Okay, next part of the shit show. We have this guy's welded in. Now you'll notice real quickly that I didn't clean up these welds very much. I smoothed them a little bit, but I also filled in that crack between the frame and the torque box. It doesn't need to be there. Make her stronger. I did smooth it along here though, because that's where my piece is gonna set down in, and so that's good. Not bad, you know. Okay, underneath, the seam looks good. Apparently it was, I used 16, apparently it was 16 gauge because it's dead nuts. Oh, somebody burned through here. Now you see this kind of stuff, it's good up here. This kind of stuff, this is prime candidate for what I like to call panel filler. What is panel filler, you might ask? That would be seam sealer, because a little bead of seam sealer is going to go along that anyway. I pretty much like to seam seal any butt welds, or most welds that I do anywhere. Most of them I haven't done yet, but yeah, when you have a little flaw like that and you're running seam sealer up that line, you just go a little wider in that spot. And then once the bottom of the car is all painted up, well, you know, who knows about it? Just me, well, and 5 or 6 of you guys, whoever many watch this, but again, she's strong. That's a good base now for our setup. Now we gotta, I'll get the pour 15. We'll do inside everywhere. Let it dry while I build my top cap for this thing. And that'll be the next stage. Okay, she's all cleaned up. Pour 15 is in there. Good and thick. because, you know, these spots are never to be seen again until the next guy goes to restore this car and goes, what the fuck? But anyway, that's his problem. We're ready there. I need to grab my weld through primer. I got to spray along here and up here and across here so that we can weld that without having to rust in the future where our overlap is. I just wanted to show that. No big deal. This top cover is going to be, it's going to be a chore, realistically. You know, I got a piece measured out. It's 7 by 10.5 inches. The front edge has to follow this pattern. I use this silly guy to over there on the car to get what I need. So the front edge has to go like this, which is no big deal. And then the bottom edge that goes along the very bottom also has to have, this is, you know, looking at it this way, it has to have that same rise now as this guy has here. So that's actually quite a rise in that. Not a big deal, but you know, these pieces get a little challenging. It's going to be a bitch, but like everything else and every other challenge that we have encountered in this situation, we'll meet her head on and we'll win, damn it, because that's what we do. So I'm going to cut that out for tonight. It's getting a little late. It is Valentine's weekend. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with the beautiful wife. But apart from that, tomorrow I will probably attempt to bend that piece up and figure out what that's going to be. Again, right? Just saving a ton of money but spending a ton of time. But what else would I be doing? Really? This is what I like doing, so here we are. Well, probably about an hour and a half in from when I said I was going in, because it's Valentine's Day and all. Yeah, so anyways, I made up my piece here, and it's not too bad. I think it's gonna do the trick. I'll do the plug welds around it. I have to, you know, I'll do a couple, get her held in place really good, and then I'll give her a little whack here and there to straighten it up a bit. But yeah, we've got that. Now this here, you know, because I just don't do this stuff, I didn't account for the stretch that would come out of this funky ass corner, and I'll tell you what, this corner was a fucker. But anyways, so the plan then is I'll do the plugs all the way around, and probably from about where my thumb is over to about here, I'm just going to run a bead right here, because like 100% it's not going to be seen. From underneath you'll see this nice lip here and a whole bunch of seam sealer, i.e. body panel filler, and should be strong enough just being welded across here. In fact, it's probably stronger than a couple plugs would be here anyway. And then, like I say, I'll plug these guys just to hold her in place. I'll give this a little whack to bring it in tight. I'll run a hell of a bead across here and a hell of a bead here. And for that matter, I got a little bit of overlap there. I might just run a bit of a bead down there too, just to make everybody happy, make me happy anyway. So whatever. You do what you can, right? That was a lot of work. I didn't like it. The other side, like I say, looking at it, yeah, it's gonna need the same thing, so yay. But it doesn't need the bottom, like the first piece, but it will need a cover that's very much the same. And you know what? Note to self, and to those of you out there doing this, they don't make these top covers for 71 to 73, but I just know from forums and whatever YouTube or wherever, the 70 and under caps for these torque boxes fit, apparently, with just like some gentle swings of a hammer. So they're about, like for me, Canadian, they're probably, I don't know, 100 and a quarter, 150 a piece, so 300 bucks. I don't know. I spent X amount of hours doing that, like an hour and a half doing this. I don't know. It's going to be just as strong, but you know, that's one of those things when I do my next quote-unquote restoration, like a real restoration on whatever it's going to be. I'm thinking 65 Comet, which of course there's no fucking parts available for those. So let's say I do something that has parts available. I'll be buying probably most of the parts next time, but I'll start with something that's a little easier to start with. Anyways, that's it for today. I don't want to talk. I like talking, you might have noticed. Tomorrow, hopefully get this welded in, cut out the other side, get started on it. We'll see just how it really looks when we get into it, and we'll be back with more. Okay, we're back out here. Long weekend Monday. Got my top piece installed. It's hard to see because it's glossy still, but that's wet paint. Looks a little funky. There we go. I got the gap in there. They had a couple big boogers of weld holding it. I had to grind those out so I could pound it back in straight. Welded along the side there, down the side, across the bottom like I had said, and did all my plugs. So she is ready for action. I got to put this this piece here back in. I'll do a little bit of weld through primer once this dries, and just keeping you posted as we go, step by step. But yeah, pretty happy with that. It's going to be good and strong. So on to the next step. Okay, we got the other side cut out for what we're going to do. I'll be able to slip the this piece here underneath the floorboard. There's enough gap for that because it wasn't welded down there. And I got the Pt14 inside a little bit up around the edges there too, where it's kind of needs it. So good. She's all cleaned up, wire wheeled, and ready to roll. And we'll get on with the. This is dried now in the meantime, so we'll get on with welding this little piece of floor pan back in, and we shall return. All right. Last but not least for this video, there she is, all done. It's not super gorgeous. The old welds show up a bit, but again, we'll run seam sealer around all the welds. I just do that anyway in case there's any pinholes or what have you. The other side's still ready to go. I'm out of time for today. Got to go out, get the snowblower out, move a bit of snow around, and do that kind of fun stuff. And there you go. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but that's a good strong corner there. We're in good shape for that torque box, and we'll do the other one up probably next weekend. And it's supposed to be warm this week. Maybe I'll get out in the evenings. I certainly hope so, but can't say for sure. But that's the steps for this guy. She is finito. So alright folks, thanks for watching along. I can't imagine that anybody's boring enough to be at this end of the video, but if you are, thank you. Good to have people watch. I just want people to know that, you know, we can do this stuff cheap, and yeah, it takes a lot of time, but I don't know. It's fun, and you know, it's more satisfying than just buying the parts, or more specifically, dropping it off at the local restoration guy and picking it up ready to roll. That couldn't do me. Wouldn't do me. Couldn't afford it anyway. All right. See you next time.